All right, so this is a team call for Physics Nation. It's August 25th. And so I'm recording this call, and for anyone that wants to watch the replay, I have some great notes. And
Wait, you muted yourself.
oh yeah, okay. Good call. And just having that mindset to go all in, set goals. And I figured that this would be really good for all of us to hear, no matter if you've been a coach for a while or if you're a brand new coach, and just give you some simplified strategies as to how to go about approaching certain things, having that mindset and developing those like awesome habits. So, before Beachbody, I obviously I went to college. Right out of college, I was still a waitress working until 3 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't the schedule that was ideal for me. I was burnt out. I never saw my husband. We lived opposite lives, and so I, right out of college, pretty much started my own baking business. And I worked from a local shop. So I basically had a retail store where I would, do my business stuff out of, which I felt like I was really lucky. But it was just me. And so I put in a ton of hours. Again, I was kind of in the same situation as far as like never seeing my husband. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I didn't have any background in marketing because my degree's in biology. So I kind of just went that route because I knew I wanted to be my own boss. And then since my degree is in biology, I finally had the opportunity to go into medical sales, which is extremely hard industry to get into. And so when that opportunity presented itself, I jumped on it, and I folded my baking business and concentrated on that. And I was in medical sales for about three and a half years. And I thought I finally landed my dream job. It's what I went to school for. I was super stoked that I finally got into the industry. After frustrating times before I started my baking business, I had tried to get into the medical industry, and it just wasn't happening. So, I felt like I finally had this breakthrough. And then I was on the fast track to success. And I quickly learned that lifestyle is extremely cutthroat. It doesn't really fit my personality. I was essentially my own boss, I guess. But I just always felt like I didn't belong, that there was something bigger and better out there and greater for me. I just didn't know what exactly that was, or how to get it. Obviously, I feel like I had failed multiple times, in the recent years leading up to that. And, obviously me and my husband couldn't afford for me to continue failing. I felt like I was at the age of where I should have had more success. I was just getting frustrated with things, and we were in debt. That's where, you know that story where, a lot of us are in debt. If you're in school, you have probably debt. Just being an adult these days, I feel like you have debt. So we had accumulated quite a bit of debt. And it wasn't until I really started to have the mindset that I had the power to change everything, and I had to start taking ownership. So for me, I knew I wanted essentially freedom to have my own schedule and my own life, to be able, I've always had really great work ethic. So that was never a part of what I was missing. I'll put in the hours, I will grind, I will do that sort of thing. But I didn't in the medical world, I still essentially had a boss. I had quotas. I had things like that. And I didn't really enjoy selling. So being in this world of owning your own business where you typically quote unquote have to sell, I still don't feel like I'm selling. But, to meet a quota is extremely stressful. If you don't hit it, then, you're ridiculed and you ask a bunch of questions. And so I always felt like I was falling short and that I wasn't doing a good enough job when I felt like I brought a lot to the table. So, you know, when I started this business and really getting serious about, this is the path that I wanted to take, I still continued to have my highly demanding medical job, where I would work, a lot of days, like 10, 12-hour days, with like no break. You're always on the go. You're always in your car. Like, seriously, my husband would laugh at me because I would pack a cooler every day before I left for work with food, because I knew that if I wanted to stay on track, at least with my meal plan, I had to have all this food prepared. And so it was like I was going camping every day, for my job. But I started to self-evaluate myself and evaluate the time that I was spending in building my business, in the midst of my busy schedule and that sort of thing. And I did this for 2 whole weeks. And I would ask myself at times when I, wasn't, when I was sitting, I was waiting for something, like for a surgery to start, or, something like that. I would ask myself, is this really free time I have right now? Or at night when I was exhausted and all I wanted to do was veg out, I might ask myself, well, is this 30 minutes? Did I just waste 30 minutes watching like a dumb, mindless show when I could have, been more productive with my time? Did I just spend 30 minutes scrolling Facebook and get nothing accomplished and nothing productive done? Could I have stayed up 30 minutes later and, done something for my business instead of, going to bed and watching Netflix, that sort of thing. I mean, sometimes you have to make those sacrifices. And so, and it's hard to self-evaluate on those things when you do have a super busy schedule, like you're a full-time student or you have a full-time job, and, you have relationships and friendships and stuff like that to find that extra time. But what I found, like in those 2 weeks, was pretty cool. And I actually had kept a journal. I'm doing this. And I just started to uncover, like, there was consistent times that I had in my schedule every day where I had these time pockets. And I found almost 3 extra hours a day where I was literally just doing nothing. So, I started saying, like, I'm in business for me and no other reasons, for myself, for my family, and that I'm going to do this from now on. So I made the pact with myself that I would not get discouraged, that I would continue to do that and just take certain nuggets that I learned, from different trainings or top coaches that I looked up to or things like that, just to take those nuggets and just continue to push on forward. And, we all have been in trainings. Even as a new coach, you've been in a new training, and they're awesome. And a lot of times in the Beachbody world or in this business, you'll hear aha moments. Even as like many entrepreneur coaches will say, like, oh, what are your aha moments? And I actually don't really like this term, because it doesn't really matter what your aha moment is unless you actually like realize that aha moment and then put it into action. Then, it's kind of obsolete, right? So, you can listen to those trainings. You can listen to other successful coaches and see what they're doing, and say, oh, that's great, I like that, or I should do that. But until you start implementing and start doing some of those things, then you kind of continue to go round and round in circles. And I think that that's where a lot of times we become frustrated. I know for me, I fell into a comparison trap again. And so I just, I had to take a step back and just realize that I have to do this for myself. I have to have that mindset where I'm not just trying to be a carbon copy of something, that I have to, that I have to just find different ways to implement what I've learned into my business. And, those trainings, of course, we need them, but most important is to build a solid foundation on the 4 vital behaviors. And it used to be 3 until recently. And for those of you like who are newer coaches, the fourth vital behavior is recognition. And it can be kind of not intimidating, but almost like you might feel like it's a waste of time to have recognition as a vital behavior. But even if you don't have any sort of coach or team or whatever yet, recognizing somebody in a challenge group or somebody that even you go to school with, or, you know, a friend that did like something awesome, people like to see positivity and like you lifting others up. So it doesn't have to be directly related to business in any way. So you can still use that recognition, vital behavior, and put it into practice every day, even if you are a new coach and have a new, you know, are new to this business. And the 4 vital behaviors includes that power hour. And, you know, this is kind of like that checklist. And I actually need to put this in my new coach training now as an example, because you can find a ton of different power hours and things like that. But, but the basis is the same as far as like what those power hours include. And it's crazy because it's almost like we trick ourselves into thinking that the vitals aren't really what we need in our business, and that we almost trick ourselves that they're not what we need. There's got to be some other secret sauce out there, and that there's better ways to reach people. But the vitals really truly are what you need to be consistent. You got to be proof that you have something to offer, which builds credibility and that social media following just over time. So the more that you can show up every single day and add value in some way, then that credibility builds. Like I said, take action and do the work, and just keep it simple. Because this business really is simple. It's not complex. It's not complicated. It's really just showing up every day and doing those vital behaviors, and you're going to see growth. I promise you. And this is something that I feel like I've learned recently this week even, is I got off track myself, and I wasn't doing the 4 vital behaviors every day. I wasn't adding to my network. I wasn't starting new conversations like I should. I kind of relied on my already existing network or people that I had, you know, previous conversations with, but I was never really truly adding people to my network. And so doing this week again and kind of rededicating myself, I've seen some awesome new conversations come through, and I feel like I'm going to get some growth out of that. So, you know, that's just a lesson learned that I feel like I need to share, because, you know, even as a mentor, even as a leader, I feel like I'm still I'm doing the same things that you guys should be doing, and I'm in the trenches too. And it just goes to prove that when you do those simple things, that you truly do see growth. So if you're doing those things, keep it up, because it's going to pay off. I feel like a lot of times also that we fall into that comparison mode, and it stresses us out like really bad, because you either feel like you're not doing enough, or you constantly have to revamp yourself, that you're not doing the right things. But my advice is to stop talking to yourself like that. And, you know, here are some simple ways as to how you can just wipe that out. And is one, you've got to stop comparing, because that doesn't do us any good. What someone else has to offer and what you have to offer are 2 completely different things. And people want to connect with you, not with a carbon copy of somebody else, because then it just becomes so much more organic and so much more fun to do this business when you're not trying to duplicate like another person, like you're just being yourself. So stop comparisons, and then start concentrating on the simpler things. And I have 3 main things that I wrote down that I really want to share with you. And the first one is to look at your own paper. And this is kind of goes back to the comparison thing, is you don't want to formulate and mold yourself into other Beachbody coaches. Especially, I mean, you all know who those people are who do that, because you can clearly see that when you look at their profile. So use those people that you look up to people that are already super successful in the business, that are top coaches, to get inspired, to kind of see what they're doing, to get ideas from them, ideas for posts, that sort of thing, for, I say, like 3 or 4 months. And then once you are starting to implement those things for yourself and kind of get the hang of your own voice, then cut it out and do your own thing. So that allows you to take a step back. You already know the basics. You already know how to talk to people. You already seeing, some growth in your social media. And so you don't need to follow those coaches all the time. And, liking a bunch of top coaches' pages for the long term just kind of distracts you. I think it's distracting to me when I do that. And you can always you're going to know who those people are, and you can always reference their pages. Like whenever you feel stuck or you just need some inspiration for the day, you can always go to your search bar and type them in and kind of scroll through their page and see what they've been posting about to maybe get some new ideas. And Sammy posted that awesome post idea group in our team page last week. So if you didn't see that, scroll through there and see that post so that you can add yourself to it, because you'll get some ideas there as well. And like I said, people sign with you because they see something in you, or they see themselves in your journey, or in some way they can relate. And this just goes back to, they've learned how to know, like, and trust you, which is a key component on how you develop a relationship and how you get to that end point, that end result, whatever that might be, whether if it's, having them join a challenge or having them, join your team or whatever. And then when you're able to uncover your true self, then you start to actually attract people that want to join you and are just like you. And again, that makes it more fun. So if you keep saying to yourself, oh, I only attract people for challenge group, I can't ever get anyone to be interested in the business, or I can't attract coaches. Again, you have to go back to that self-evaluation. You have to, for me, in the beginning, I was posting way too much about challenge groups. I never posted about the business, ever. I was always concerned about challenge groups and Success Club, and I figured that was the only way to achieve Success Club was to post about groups. So I figured that I wasn't using my social media to attract what I wanted to get. And in the long run, essentially that's coaches, right? So, I started to post as me more and use my own voice, my own stories more strategically, to lay those breadcrumbs, to kind of start revealing, the message that I wanted to send on my social media. And if there's 2 really good books that I want to recommend to you that are great and related to social media. One is called Contagious, and it's by Jonah Berger. And then the other one is Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk. And I'm sure you've heard his name before. That this Jab, 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 Right Hook is a book that basically is very popular in entrepreneur social media world. And Gary Vaynerchuk was just at Summit this year. So he's extremely high profile, I guess you could say, in the Beachbody world as of right now. But the book Contagious by Jonah Berger is also good. So you could reference those, and maybe they have them on audiobook if you don't have time to sit down and actually read. That's always helpful. So if you're posting about challenges and you're getting challengers, that's what I'm going to say is, maybe where you need to do that self-evaluation. I recommend that posting at least once a day about coaching, and not just the term join my team, or, maybe it's something about a sneak peek. No one knows what a sneak peek is unless you're in the Beachbody world, so people don't even know what that is in reference to. Same thing like about our backstage pass. Like you kind of have to explain it a little bit in terms where it's not confusing, because someone will see like backstage pass, like I don't even know what that is. Is it related to business? Is it related to a concert? Is it related to something, something else that could use that same verbiage? Because if you're not in that world, then you probably don't know what it is. So you got to think, about what interests you in coaching. So, when you start talking about the like coaching part, like once a day on your social media, it can be anything like, what attracted you to coaching, what made you nervous, what objections did you initially have, what makes you nervous now. Just create this almost like a master list, or put it in a journal or something, and then post from this list. And this is something that Bonnie Engel like totally resonated with me about, is she uses her social media platforms, like page, personal page, Instagram, like whatever platform she's on, as kind of like a public open sneak peek all the time. And of course she still runs closed group sneak peeks, but she continually masters these objections and battles these objections and questions that people have consistently, publicly. And I think that that's absolutely genius, and it makes so much sense, because then you don't have to do that privately as much and answer the same questions as much, because people are already looking at those things, and you're being bold and you're being brave by just putting it out there like right then. And it shows that you are relatable and that you have the same objections or the same fears that someone else that's not already in the business would have as well. So again, it kind of allows people to come into your world, to trust you a little bit more, and again, just to resonate and to be able to relate to you on a different level, like outside the business. They see themselves in your story, and then they can see that you're having some sort of success with it, or they see your story unfold, and they start to see themselves in your journey. So I recommend doing that. Like make that a goal, maybe in like one of your posts. So one of your 2 to 3 posts, post something about the coaching lifestyle in some way. And it doesn't you don't have to have a huge team. You don't have to have a team at all to do this. You don't have to have a huge income, but you can just start telling people about what this business, you can do for you. Or I always say, don't underestimate the small things, because those successes that you and or your team have had, you can use those things. So it's not just successes that you personally have, or success that some of your personally sponsored coaches have. You can use our whole network and pull pieces from that as well and make it your own success story. So again, as far as that self-evaluation, so if you wanted to go to your page right now, you should look at your page and ask yourself, if somebody that didn't know me, can they realize that I do these 4 things? So they should know that you're a health and fitness coach of some kind, that you run some sort of group, and that they can join you, that they can do it too. And that could be related to a challenge group or the coaching lifestyle. And then that you do it as a job, or that it is a business of some sort, because, just providing information and inspiration doesn't necessarily want to it doesn't get people to know that you're an actual business and that they can join you in that as well. So, when you post from that list of objections, things that make you feel full, made you skeptical, that sort of thing, or make you happy, it could be a positive thing too, then you post from that list and you start to be super authentic and people will see that. So when you are reaching out to those 3 to 5 to maybe even 10 people a day, you listen to what the majority are telling you. And this, a lot of us will relate this to objections. And one of the biggest objections that we all know is money, of course. They can't afford it right now, or it's just not in the budget, or kids just started school. I don't have money for that. And you could make a post. You can realize that this is an objection that you get all the time. So in turn, you could make a post on your social media about how you initially afforded Shakeology in the beginning, how you got motivated to start a fitness journey, that sort of thing, where you found time in your busy schedule to fit it in. Those are all objections. And when you start to do this consistently and you're doing this publicly, those objections, that awkwardness of messaging people about coaching goes away because you've consistently tackled it publicly on your social media. And once I made this switch, I stopped following those top coaches, even that I did kind of stick around and continue to follow, because it was starting to make me less authentic, and I felt like I was falling into more of a cookie cutter Beachbody coach instead of a Kimberly Beachbody coach. And then I realized that once I was able to cut this out, again, I started attracting more people that I wanted to attract, who had the same fears and the same kind of objections that I had about coaching, and we could relate to each other. And as you can't be successful in this business without a team behind you. And so you want to build that trust and that foundation with people that you're bringing on to your team, because you just have obviously you have more connection, but you feel like a sense of loyalty to each other because you want to truly help each other to succeed. So, and where your pain points are, what fears you guys have, what, things that you deal with that are tough, and you can help each other overcome those a lot better. So another way that you can kind of battle the coaching lifestyle type post is, what do you do all day as a coach? What does it give you? How does it add value into your life? You can show people that you have a mobile business and you can do it from anywhere. So you could take, a picture of you working in the car, or, something like that on the go. And then those are going to combat those objections as well, because people will start to formulate those opinions before the objections even present themselves. They can already see that through your posts. So that's number one, is look at your own paper and use your social media as like a public platform to battle objections and fears and things, so that people can realize that you've gone through those same things. And then number two is to look at your business like a business. And any of you that might have heard this before are probably like, yeah. Like, I know I need to look at it like a business. But I just feel that we have such an amazing platform that is unique from other companies' platforms. And it's a gift to be able to allow somebody to come into our world and do what we do. So, when I first started, like I said, I was in a dire situation. I had a full-time job I hated. I was almost $100,000 in debt. My husband and I didn't get along really. We were on the verge of divorce. It was just like, this was my end to positivity and making it a really amazing change in my life. And so, I decided to make that change. But when I was looking into Beachbody and I started to say, like, well, how can this be a business? I started to look at it like buying into a franchise, so to speak. And, obviously buying into a franchise is like insanely expensive. But with Beachbody, you get to do it at a low price, and there's no overhead, there's no like expenses, so to speak, really. So, I ask myself, or you can ask yourself the same question, is if you bought a real franchise, and let's say you took out a huge loan and it was like $500,000 to buy I don't know, like a sub shop or like a Mooyah Burger, Five Guys, or whatever, then of course, if you are investing that kind of money into a business, you'd be working crazy hours. You would be making sure that your books are up to date and are right no matter what. You'd spend all day in the store. There's no way that you would go by the wayside. You do everything that you could possibly do to make sure that business succeeded. And you just look at it in a different way because you have some collateral invested into that business. But with Beachbody, our collateral really is our why, our story, our reasons as to why we want this to make it work and to keep us going. So the mentality of if you don't put a lot of money into it, you don't put a lot of work into it either. And that's just kind of like the sad mentality that I feel like a lot of our society has, and that sucks because it's like we want that instant gratification. We want to do this business for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months and expect for us to just have a rocking business, and that happens for some of us, but a lot of times it doesn't. And with any other business, it takes a good solid year of you showing up every day doing the grind, like just like you would in a normal business. Another example would be the college example. You pay a lot of money to go to college for 4 or 5 years nowadays, and you have a lot invested. So you make sure that you succeed in that. You make sure that you put your all into that education so that you can get a better job, or you get your money's worth out of the investment. So I started looking at us outside of Beachbody for resources, and it could be other successful businesses that had large following, or just other entrepreneurs that were outside of our arena. And there's a really good podcast called Entrepreneur on Fire, and it's all sorts of industries, and there's like 1 million podcasts. He does one every single day, and he interviews, and they're typically pretty short, like 20 minutes, so that it's easy to listen to, but he interviews people from all sorts of industries. It's not just health and fitness. It's not just, I don't know, like retail. It's all sorts of different entrepreneurs. So you start to get you get different ideas, and you start pulling from these different markets. And then again, it's just something else that you can apply to what we do. Another one, of course, is time. Time is an investment as well. I mean, we all know that. We all are super busy. We all have busy lives and busy schedules. So to be able to fit this in, we have to ask ourselves, are we doing busy work, or are we doing something that's productive and that's actively growing our business? And again, that is relevant to what I got done talking to you a little bit ago about finding those time pockets, about asking yourself those self-evaluation questions on what you're doing with your time, and finding where you can fit it in. And then you use your time like you would in a business, or like applying it to school or whatever. You show up every day and do the best that you can, and you do the what's necessary to get you moving forward, right? And you could ask yourself, are you putting in the effort, and are you putting in the diligence? Are you putting in the consistency that you would if you had invested that $500,000 in a brick and mortar franchise? And when I started asking myself these questions, and like I said, I recommitted myself this last week, a lot of these, when I do those self-evaluations, a lot of the time my answer is no, and that sucks. And so I just had to continue to remind myself and reevaluate through the day, where I keep that why in front of me. I keep it on my desk where when I start slipping a little bit or I get distracted, because I get distracted super easily, I just remind myself that the why and the bigger reason is more important. So I keep pushing. And then the last one that I wanted to touch on is keep it simple, simple, simple. Don't overcomplicate this business. Seriously, if you're a new coach, or when you're bringing on new coaches to your team, first off, you have to lead by example. So you have to hit Success Club every single month. And this is literally just helping 3 people continuously. You can help them continuously every month. And in turn, you're building your bigger pipeline. And then you teach those 3 to 5 people that you're bringing in your onboarding to hit Success Club as well. So it's literally just hitting Success Club yourself, bringing in new people, and teaching them how to hit Success Club as well. And don't worry about all the crazy trainings. I take a lot of that off your plate, and they have not only you and our team as a resource, but they have me as well. So until you feel comfortable, like, I'm going to run those trainings for you guys. I'm going to help you with the free groups. I'm going to do, we do a lot of stuff as a team anyway. So just make it simple for them. Make it and break down the goals so that they're obtainable and they feel comfortable going after those. Like, Lindsay's a new coach, and so she's been having some great conversations, and she's already having headway because she's breaking it down and making it simple for herself, where she's just starting new conversations. And moving into next month, our goal is to have her hit Success Club. That's 3 people out of all the conversations that she's already having, and I have no doubt in my mind that she's going to do that. So just make it simple. And another example, like relating to the franchise, is that if you were to look at a business that did things a certain way on Saturdays, and they were way more successful because they did these things on Saturdays, they were almost, let's say, 85% more successful, like a pretty astronomical stat. Than those who didn't do that same thing on Saturdays. You would do it right. So it's the same thing about Success Club, because the statistics show the more that you can hit Success Club and you do it every single month. I mean, I don't know the exact number. I'm using 85%, but it's a high number like that, where the coaches that continuously hit Success Club make 85% more than coaches who don't consistently hit Success Club. And so when you can hit Success Club yourself again, and you teach those people that you're bringing in to just hit Success Club and help 3 people a month, it's golden. It's not a hard process. And once you get that down, once you continuously start to do that, then you can start building other things out and feeling super confident about it, because you have such a great baseline of how to do the basic stuff, So, and I'm almost done. So another point with Success Club is, if you want to be, a girl boss, a boss girl, whatever you want to call it, and you want to move forward, you have to hit Success Club and take ownership. And it's literally leading by example, and like I said, and getting those people into your business, introducing them to our awesome products, introducing them to our amazing team and community. And then once they're there, then they can simply show them, and they're interested in coaching, then simply show them that this is the way you hit Success Club. And then you do this for 3 months in a row, and you hit Success Starters. And that's a huge deal, because you get a free ticket to Summit, and there's so many awesome benefits. And you, as their coach, reap the benefits as well, just for breaking it down and making sure that they hit those goals. And then the domino effect starts to happen. And then you start feeling some great momentum, and you start feeling really good. And this is honestly a proven system that works. So, and that's how you get to be an elite team. That's how you get to be an elite coach. And you have all these awesome benefits is it's really just breaking down those goals and helping 3 to 5 people a month and hitting Success Club. So that's why we make such a big deal. That's why I truly want to help you hit Success Club, so that you and you do that consistently every month, so that we all grow together. And just to give you a couple like non-negotiables for me personally, and the way that I kind of structure my business throughout the month, aside from the team. So the 1st through the 15th of every month, I concentrate on my own business. I make sure I hit Success Club. And if I haven't, then by the 15th, then I keep that still in my Rolodex, and I continue to strive for that, obviously. But the 1st through the 15th every month is that I concentrate on my own business. I send messages to potential challengers and potential coaches. I answer any objections that people have. And I make this a priority, like first thing in the morning, the first things that I do. And then after that, I kind of put in the legwork. And what I mean about this is I start to map out my posts. I start to map out about what objections I've gotten over the last couple weeks and how I'm going to combat those publicly. And then when I have prospects, I go to their pages and I comment on some of their pictures, and that way I'm constantly showing up in their newsfeed and they know that I'm invested in them. And don't underestimate the power that has on people, because it's awesome. Like, people really appreciate you taking the time, and this could literally just be like 10 minutes. And if you don't know, you can actually organize these contacts through Facebook. And once I finish my last couple notes, I'll actually show you real quick how to do that. And then I make sure that I get those posts in the afternoon. And a lot of my time is dedicated to you guys and my team. Obviously, I do team calls at night and that sort of thing. And then the 15th through the 30th, the second half of the month, is I truly try to help you guys hit Success Club. And one thing that I can personally try and get better, I have that thread, that group thread for us, so that we can help each other. And I feel like now we've gotten a little bit better with doing that. But if you have 1 to 4 Success Club points on the board, like, I want to check in with you and I want to converse with you to see how I can help you, make those extra points. And just as your leader, I feel like I give you guys a ton of great tools. There's so many resources at our fingertips to move forward, but it's also to help you stay accountable to your goals. So, as a new coach, we have a one-on-one call. We have a group new coach Zoom some months, if we have, depending on how many coaches that we have join our team. And so, you tell me what you want out of this business. And it's also like my job to help you stay accountable to those goals and push you towards those goals, because that's how you grow, right? And literally, like, when you're able to do this and then you start to get your initial investment back and you have some quick success, you feel more confident in what you're doing. And so, if you have 1 to 4 points and you're finding yourself like falling just a little bit short, all we really have to do to self-evaluate that is you have some points on the board, you know how to talk to people. Let's just talk to some more people. Like, you just got to increase your numbers a little bit and then you'll hit it, like, without a doubt. And then at the beginning of the month, I make 3 lists. And you can track this however you want. You can put it in a binder. You can put it on a scratch piece of paper, like on your desk, and just keep it there for the month. But what you can do, or you can do it electronically if you want it, like in an Excel spreadsheet. If that's the way you do it, you could put it in Asana if you're using Asana, whatever. But you can have folders for people that said no or not right now, so that they were going to sign up, but they didn't. And then people that are in current groups, such as challenge groups or coach trainings. And then you work from these lists each month. And then whoever doesn't join you as whatever you're talking to them about as a challenger or a coach, then they stay on that list, and those people just roll over to the next month over and over and over. And you might see a pattern that a lot of those people stay on the list for 3 or 4 or 5 months until they finally say yes. But that's totally okay. At least you're organized and you know who you're talking to and who's in that Rolodex in your network of strong prospects. So, and you could write little notes by these people's names. Again, I use Asana, but it could literally be on a piece of paper where you write little notes about, Lindsay couldn't do it this month because her dog got sick and she had an emergency vet bill, but she's still interested. She wants to do it next month. And then that follow-up is like more sincere because you can ask about her dog, you can see how she's doing, and just, have some relevance instead of just saying, hey, are you ready to join my team? Or hey, are you ready to join my challenge group? It makes it way more personal and it goes so much further when you go to follow up. So those little messages help. And then track as much as you can. And of course, we're all human, myself included. Believe me, I've said it time and time again, I suck at organization. I try every day to get better. But if someone gets lost, just don't get stressed out. Don't get discouraged. They're going to pop back up eventually, and you can always just go back to them. Like it's no big deal. You could even say something like, oh my gosh, I can't believe your message got lost in my inbox. And it just shows that you're human and that we're not robots, that we truly work our own businesses, and people appreciate that. And it really does go a long way. So don't get stressed out if tracking stresses you out and you kind of lose people here and there, because ultimately it's probably going to happen. And again, people are just refreshed to see that you're not perfect. So my 2 ending points are to be the coach that you want to follow, and people are attracted to realism, and you just being authentic. So I hope that kind of makes you feel more comfortable. I hope you guys got some stuff out of it. And you guys can always reference this call to go back. But just having that sort of mindset and, taking the complexity out and making it simple, and using your pages as like a public forum to battle certain things that are always going to be coming up in your business, it's going to make things so much easier, and it's ultimately going to make it more fun. I promise. As a new coach, I know it's scary to kind of put yourself out there. Heck, it's sometimes scary to put myself out there even now, but I feel like people truly, truly relate more when you do that. So I don't know, that's kind of all I have for you. So the people, Lindsay and Sammy, are on the call. So if you want, I'm going to unmute both of you, and then you can ask any questions if you want. Okay, you're good. Anyone have anything or thoughts or whatever?
One of the things I just went through is I was reaching out to this one woman, and I tried to tell if she had already tried Beachbody, and I looked at her profile and she never posted anything. I went a few weeks back, and then I reached out to her and I was liking her stuff, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm already doing the 21-day fix. Is that just something that happens?
Yeah. And I mean, that happens all the time. And a lot of times that people have the programs because there are the infomercials, and there are, if you go to just beachbody.com, of course, people can buy it off Amazon. So yeah, you might find, there's a lot of times that you might find somebody that has the program already, but you could simply ask her, do you have any support? Do you have somebody that you currently, work with to offer you support through that program or whatever, and just see what she says, because a lot of people honestly don't know that exists, because until you get those free leads. So when you're Emerald and you're hitting Success Club, you get free leads from Beachbody, and those people come from the infomercials and from beachbody.com. And so unless you as a coach reach out to them and say, hey, I'm your coach and I'm here to help, what program are you doing? Are you on Shakeology? If not, I'll send you a sample. If you have any questions on how to get started, that's what I'm here for. And then I personally always put like, if you want to join one of my exclusive groups, like you're more than welcome to, just so that they know that like they have a support system. So yeah, that lady might have, I mean, she has a coach somewhere, but like she might not know who they are because they never reached out to her. So yeah, just open that up to her and see if she has any sort of support, and if she's in a group with other women to help her through the program, and that sort of thing. So yeah.
I mean, I don't really have any other questions.
Okay.
You this, people might already know this because I'm so new, but so yeah, can we send them, like, because I know someone that wanted to try the vegan Shakeology because she is vegan, but she didn't want to get the sample pack because like obviously she can't use the other 5.
Yeah.
So is there any way just to like send her a sample of the vegan, or?
Yeah. So you don't drink the vegan, do you?
I mean, I tried it, but I don't have it right now. No.
So you could post in, if I had a sample pack, I would send it to you, but I don't. I get the bag. So you could ask in like the Rebel Squad page, just say, hey, I have a coach, or I have a potential customer that, wants to try the vegan. I'm a new coach and I don't have any vegan samples. Is there any way that I can get a vegan sample from someone? And even if you paid a coach like $4 or $5, then they'll send it to you. So I'm sure there's somebody on that team that has vegan packets laying around. That way you can send her some, and like it actually has nutrition value, like information on there and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's what I would do. And I know Sammy and I just talked this week, so I don't know if she has anything.
No, I gotta go to work in 5 minutes.
Oh, boo.
Mm.
How much longer this week do you have that? Or are you on that shift for a while?
No, so
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is a late shift.
Yeah, it's terrible. Last week they put me on 3 to 11, and it's only because we have like a backlog of work to do. So on Monday this week, I came in at my normal 3 to 11, and she was like, "Oh, tomorrow you're gonna work nights, and you're gonna work nights for the rest of the week. So I have to work Saturday, pretty much."
Ugh.
It sucks.
Well, at least it's not like long term. I mean, it could be worse, but
it could be way worse. I could be, working outside instead of inside, but
yeah, or have that night shift all the time.
Yeah. Hopefully only this week, and then I think I'll probably go back to 3 to 11 next week.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know it's getting late for both of you, or maybe not Lindsay anymore because she moved back to
Arizona. It's only 7:30.
Yeah, so like you backtracked. You're not in Eastern time anymore,
Yeah,
so that's nice.
At like 6 a.m. every day, so I'm like, this isn't Florida time.
Oh, and like I saw your address is in Flagstaff. It's so pretty there.
Right next to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Because we drove through Flagstaff when my husband and I drove to Arizona one time, and it's really pretty. We didn't stop, but
Beautiful.
Lucky you. You get to be in the mountains. But
I have no other questions. If I do, I'll just send you a text.
yeah, sounds good. I mean, I know we kind of touched base on that today, so that's awesome. And yeah, our backstage pass is Thursday, so I put a note on my to-do list to set it up this weekend for us, so that we can start adding people to it. Since you already have some people interested, then I won't wait until next week to set it up. I'll just set it up this weekend so that when they say, yeah, add me, then you can go ahead and do that and send them the invitation. So
I didn't even reach out to these people. They reached out to me and were like, wait, so what's this thing? I'm like, what?
that's what you want, right?
Yeah, so I was doing something right.
That's awesome. Yeah, that always feels really good when you start to get some of those inquiries that like come to you instead of you having to constantly feed and message and message and message. So awesome. I bet it was your live videos because I've seen you do too. So
Oh my God.
that.
Scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
All right. Well, thanks for getting on, and I will talk to you guys soon in the next couple of days, I'm sure.
Sounds good.
So, all right. Have a good night.
You too.